Buddhism has a way to judge after death. Which of the 6 paths will we enter? When Xuanzang returned from India, I also brought a Sanskrit Dabaoji. After translation, people actually discovered that a method was recorded here. It can be used to determine which of the 6 paths of reincarnation you were reincarnated from in your previous life. Hello everyone, I'm globally aware. Today we'll talk about the 3 good ways and the 3 evil ways. The 6 paths of reincarnation in Buddhism. We have explained it in detail in our previous works. But because ordinary people don't have so-called clairvoyance, so you can't see specifically which path you came from in your last life. Many viewers are asking me for a method. Are there any auspicious signs that can be observed? Which path should you come from? And today I will tell you, which sentient being did you come from in your last life? Before talking about reincarnation, let us first understand that there are 3 good paths and 3 evil paths in reincarnation. First, among the 3 good paths, the heavenly path and the Asura path are almost connected together. The natural lifespan is calculated in terms of festivals, which is equivalent to 15.98 million years when converted into human time. It is the living beings who are in harmony with other heavenly principles. 2.336 million years to live on earth. Their blessings and longevity are also great. And the blessings of the Asura path connecting to the heaven are also great. The lifespan is also very long. But they are arrogant by nature. Jealousy is strong. Their living environment and lifespan are almost exactly the same as those in the heaven. With a wishful tree that connects the 2 worlds, but it blossoms and bears fruit in the way of heaven. So you can naturally enjoy the fairy fruits on the tree. But from the moment the tree was planted, Asura, I have never enjoyed the fairy fruit on the tree. Shura took a look. I can't eat what I cook. Then don't eat it either. So Shura has been cutting down trees, and the gods have been using nectar to save the trees. In addition to this wishful thinking technique, heavenly beings also have another hobby. Gods like Shura girls, because women in the Shura world are particularly beautiful. Gods often covet the beauty of Shura girls. This triggered a war between the 2 worlds. And some people must say that this is wrong. Heavenly beings and Asuras are already divine beings. How can you still be emotional? In fact, this idea of yours is wrong. Whether it is a deity or an Asura, they're all in the 6 realms of reincarnation. As long as you don't break away from the 6 paths, there will be 7 emotions and 6 desires. The last of the 3 realms is the human realm. The human realm is the most dangerous one. The bigger your liquid is, the more you will enter the 3 evil realms immediately. You don't have more or less throughout the night. In the next life, I will secretly live in the human world. The firstborn human beings will continue to experience the ups and downs. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. Then humanity is very simple. This is our current status. The 3 lectures have been finished. Let's talk about the 3 evil realms again. The first is the animal realm. The ways of birth in the animal realm are divided into womb birth and corpse birth, oviparous and metaplasia, etc. These 4 methods, animals that are transformed exist on the ground, underground, in the sky, in the water. There are places we can't see. The lifespan of animals is not necessarily certain. Some with short limbs can live for hundreds of years in an instant. Then if you are hungry and do more things, if someone reincarnates as a cow, horse, chicken, duck, pig, or dog, they might be burned in a pot. Then the blessing would be greater. You can also cast a good creature in the animal lane. For example, Dapang Garuda or Dragon King, etc. These mythical beasts all belong to the animal realm among the 6 realms. Let's start by talking about metamorphosis of animals. These refer to auspicious beasts. Their blessings are great. His temper is full of joy. Jinshan and some jades high treasures and so on. But if you were reborn in the wild, in fact, it is also quite dangerous. It would be okay if you were a lion, tiger, or a leopard. But if you want to be an antelope, hare, pigeons, and the like, that would be quite miserable. Because the duration of Dui Jing Dao's beast violence is very special. For example, it is recorded in the Abhidhamma Sutra. The Buddha once saw an eagle chasing a dove during his practice. Danzi seemed to sense the power of Buddha. He flew towards the Buddha. The Buddha blocked the dove with his figure. The pigeon feels rescued. No more fear. No more births. Stand quietly and calmly behind the Buddha. At this time, the Buddha's disciple Shariputra also blocked the dove with his shadow. Thus, from time to time, he started to feel frightened again and let out trembling screams. At this time, Buddha immediately asked Buddha, "Neither of you are greedy, angry, or eating mountain poison." Then the Buddha's shadow covers the dove. The doves will no longer be frightened. But if it were me, the pigeon would be born. Buddha said, "Your greed, anger, and eating have not been eliminated. So your shadow cannot eliminate the pigeon's panic. Look at this pigeon. How many times has it been reincarnated in the 6 realms of reincarnation? How many times has he done pigeons? Shriver immediately used his fate to triple and observed that this pigeon had experienced 80,000 great tribulations in its past reincarnations. These 80,000 great tribulations. Every reincarnation is still a dove. But due to lack of magical power, you can no longer see it further forward. So this pigeon has been reincarnated in the animal realm at least 80,000 times. This also shows that the time for animals to be exposed to the explosion is very long. There is no human wisdom. It is impossible for them to gain the opportunity to escape from the 6 paths by relying on Su Hui and cultivation. They can only passively repay all the night bills. Only then can we have a chance to return to humanity. Then through humane cultivation, one can escape from the control of reincarnation. And below the animal path, it's just that serious injuries in the evil ghost realm are much smarter than serious injuries in the animal realm. Some of them can understand Buddhism, so they have certain wisdom. But they suffered terribly. They have been scattered all over the place. Occasionally, people will see their evil ghost realms in the human world, which are divided into 3 types. The first type is external organs. Evil ghosts like evil spirits. The limbs are as skinny as wood, but he has a big belly. The day sunshine makes them feel cold, and the moonlight at night is extremely hot for them. Their lives are yin and yang reversed. They often feel hungry, but there was little food to eat. They look for food all year round, unable to wrap belly. The second type is visceral evil spirits. They are huge. The limbs are very thin, so action is difficult. The throat is also very small. Ordinary food is inedible, starving almost all year round, unable to eat. The third type is eating evil spirits. All food they see will turn into flames. When you see water, it will dry up immediately. They can only survive by eating their own bodies. Buddha often couldn't bear to see their suffering, so give them cloth food often. That's the lowest point under the evil ghost realm. It is the most terrifying place in the 6 realms of reincarnation. There are 8 ice hells here, 8 flaming hells. People who have committed night sins come here directly after death. This is the most painful place among the 6 realms, the most cruel way to enter. The souls here may have experienced billions of years. Only then do you have a chance to escape from this path. Beings in the hell realm will be chopped and stabbed here. The pain of the magic island. Often the skin is torn open, living in a state of painful death. People in this way, the lifespan of sentient beings is extremely long. Therefore, the history of suffering is a matter of survival, but not death. The above are the characteristics of the 6 paths and the living conditions of all living beings. And some people will definitely be curious. Where did I come from in my last life? This brings us to the Mahabharata Sutra, a classic of Buddhism. When Xuanzang returned from India, I brought back the ordinary copy of the Dabayo Sutra. Later, due to physical reasons, Xuanzang had no experience of overflowing it. So no one knew what this book was at the time. Sutras come and Bodhi flows. The content of the Sanskrit text was translated. Only then did I realize that it was the Mahabharata Sutra. There are 5 major Buddhist classics in the history of Chinese Buddhism. The Mahabharata Sutra is one of them. It is said that the 72 volumes of the Mahabharata Sutra contain descriptions of which path the previous life came from. You can use each person's characteristics, character, behavior, look at his appearance, and so on to determine which path he came from during his lifetime. For example, serious injuries from the hell realm. In daily life, the voice is hoarse and sharp, like a broken gong. The words are hasty, timid and afraid of things. And I often dream of fire burning in my dreams. Mountains and rivers move, and soup pots boil. Dreaming about being gifted with a spear. Homeless. But those who come from the hell realm, in real life, most of them are people who don't keep their word. There is no support from relatives and friends around me. He has been in a state of betrayal and separation all year round. These are all characteristics of reincarnation from the hell realm to the human world. Those who come from the animal world, slow personality, stupid and ignorant, both lazy and delicious. I often like to eat raw food, drink raw water. He has a timid personality. They're not good words. I like to associate with those ignorant people in life. See those smart people? They will stay away. On a daily basis, they like to stay in an environment without light. Often sleepy-eyed, like to expose your body. Tom talk big, like to deceive others. When dreaming, I often dream about soil. Mongolian people often dream about their fields changing from eternal life to the human world. These characteristics indicate that those who come from the realm of evil spirits have curly and yellow hair. The eyes are very vicious. I often feel like I don't have enough to eat. Eat a lot. Er was stingy and jealous of him. The human brain spends a day thinking about how to eat, how to drink, likes to speak ill of people behind their backs. They like to save property rather than spending money on others. He always wants to take other people's money as his own. When in life you hear someone say something delicious and fun, they will be very unhappy in their hearts. They have a strong hatred for the rich. I don't like to make friends with better living conditions than myself. I don't like myself even more. Suddenly the friends around me are doing better than myself. What about reincarnation from the evil ghost realm to the human world? Generally have these characteristics. And people from the Azura path. Extremely arrogant, bad temper, very brave and fierce, likes to fight, narrow-minded, love to hold grudges. Most of these people are strong, very loyal. In private, I like to move others, right and wrong, look down on people. But because they had great blessings during their lifetime, therefore such people are also wise. I like to take care of my body. I like to enjoy the path of Shura. All people have these characteristics. You who are happy to be reincarnated in the human realm, they are generally virtuous and upright. Like to be close to good people. Slander the wicked. Like to pursue a famous family. Loyal and honest. Keep your word. Happy reputation. Hobby. Arts such as piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Respect wisdom. Have a sense of shame. Soft-hearted. Repay kindness. When dealing with other people. Like to obey others and not take advantage of others. Most of them are doing good things and doing good things. People who understand that officials can gain useful ideas from the experiences of their predecessors. Eloquent. Able to understand what others mean. Ability to get along well with other people. Those who are reincarnated from the human realm are very likely to obtain the path to liberation. And those who come from heaven, he is usually a decent person. I like purity, have a better appearance, like to dress up. The human world. Wealth. The 5 desires such as solid stone and broken stone are also relatively simple. They only teach those who are kind and have good moral character. Their hearts are tender, soft words, good at praising others. Conversation is elegant, delightful, work diligently, not lazy. Reincarnated people from heaven have the above characteristics. Besides that, there is another way to judge in Tibetan Buddhism. Which path will the deceased enter after death? When he was about to die, his whole body began to become cold. Only those with hot souls will enter the hell realm. Those with hot knees enter the beast path. Those with a fever in the abdomen will enter the realm of evil spirits. Those with chest fever enter the human realm between the eyebrows. Those who have fever enter the heavenly realm. This is also martial arts, and the injuries of Azura Dao all have the attributes of the above martial arts. So it's not easy to judge. Those who have escaped from the 6 realms only have hot heads, which also means that they have escaped from the 6 realms of reincarnation. Enter the pure land of bliss in a Buddhist kingdom. Good. That's it for this video. I'm Global Medical World. My channel is about exploring the universe and unsolved mysteries. If you're interested, remember to subscribe. See you next time. Life does not necessarily mean the beginning of death, nor does it mean the end. What exactly does a person go through after death? Where is the soul going? Does the 6 paths of reincarnation really exist? Then this video will teach you the ultimate law enforcement method to escape from the 6 paths of reincarnation. Hello everyone. I am the Universal Consciousness. In previous videos, we talked about the 6 paths of reincarnation, the secret of life and death in Buddhism. In that video, we explained in detail the 6 paths, the 12 marriages, and the 3 poisons of greed, anger, and eating. But I didn't tell you how to escape from the 6 realms of reincarnation. So this video, let's tell it. Tibet can help you escape from the 6 realms of reincarnation. The Duong Sutra, more than 1,200 years ago. An eminent monk who attained Taoism entered the Saffron Dharma at the invitation of Tibetan king Sisong Dazan. Because this eminent monk was born in a lotus flower. Therefore, he was honored as Padmasambhava by later generations. Tibetan Buddhists respectfully call him an insult to Rinpoche. It means Dabeo sergeant. This sergeant is one of the great siddhas in the history of Indian Buddhism. He is also the main founder of Tibetan Buddhism. His life's achievements. Padmasambhava, known as the second Buddha, was invited to Tibet. Promote Buddhism. He killed demons and subdued demons along the way. Subdue evil and poison. All kinds of disasters are eliminated. He was in tit-for-tat confrontation with the sex wizards. Debate on Taoism. Every time, he defeats a wizard from this religion. Immediately announced that a certain god of our religion has been taught the secret talisman of Buddhism, and immediately sealed him as the protector of Buddhism. After the Fanon sect began to take shape, he began to visit the major mountains in Tibetan areas. It is to leave behind Buddhist scriptures. Because Master Padmasambhava told his disciples, the future will enter the age of magic. There is no way to destroy the Buddha in this world. The classics left behind will be burned. So he passed on these sutras through Buddhism. The Buddhist treasures are mainly divided into two forms. The first is to bury scriptures in deep mountains, lakes, and other places, which is called earth blessing burial. Wise men in later generations can gain enlightenment through dreams. Find the scriptures or magical artifacts buried here. The second type is called the burial of gods and beasts, also called the belly burial of inspiration. This burial of gods and beasts is particularly magical. If you have watched our previous work of Akasha, it should be easier to understand. The process of burial of gods and beasts. It means that God will give important scriptures, or leave a warning to future generations in a specific space, or stay deep in someone's consciousness. This kind of burial method is non-material, just like the Akashic records, to future generations in a special place or special physical condition. You will suddenly gain the knowledge left behind by God in this specific space. This knowledge will open your mind. Slowly copy the scripture into your mind. Mythical beast wrapper in Tibetan areas. Everyone has seen it, right? When they wake up illiterate. You can sing the world's longest epic, the legend of King Geezer. In fact, they obtained this kind of burial of gods and beasts. Therefore, this method of animal burial is also called real hiding. This is hidden. It is also a classic unsolved mystery in Tibet. When Master Padmasambhava was preparing to leave Tibet, he has been promoting Buddhism in Tibet for 55 years. Buddhist scriptures are buried in many locations. 25 of his main disciples were given the right to excavate the tombs. After many years, after one of Padmasambhava's former disciples reincarnated, at a specific point in time, he discovered the reality hidden deep in his consciousness. This disciple immediately translated it into Tibetan. Let this scripture be spread to the world as soon as possible. This scripture is called The Causes of All Causes after Dudu. Zhongyin Dudu was translated into English by a lama named Dusang Gusha and Dr. Evans Wentz, and published Swiss psychologist Carl Jung. When I read this book, I felt like I had found a treasure. Said the publication of the book is bound to cause some commotion, because this book is for scholars who study Mahayana Buddhism, and laymen who want to expand their wisdom and explore the mysteries of their souls. All have great significance. But because of translation issues, there is no way to translate this English version, accurately express the importance of virtue in English. Therefore, Zhongyin Dudu was translated into the Tibetan Duong Sutra. By 1935, a German version of the Tibetan Prayer Sutra has also been published. Carl Jung's evaluation of the book is also included in the preface. Freud's most famous student, Carl Jung, is a very interesting person. He has always been full of love for Eastern philosophy. He is a psychologist, the identity of a linguist, to explore the secrets of Eastern religion and philosophy. From Jung and Tibet, The Secret of King Jing and Golden Flower, the relationships in these books, you can find that Western psychology can be so perfect, really thanks to the ancient mysticism and philosophy of the East. Our culture has had a major influence on Jung and his theories. So in the preface, Jung said, since the publication of all these causes, he has been my constant companion. I gain a lot of inspiration and knowledge from this book. And many of my fundamental theories also govern this book. So Jung's most representative theory, such as the collective unconscious, self and his subconscious, etc., the corresponding connections or concepts can be found in the Tibetan Sutra. But because living people cannot evaluate the world after death, there is no living person who can explain the experience of death. So this book has always been classified within the scope of mysticism. He never really entered into a system of serious academic research. Then this scripture describes the moment of death of the deceased. 3 different processes completed in the 49 days until rebirth. So he is not just a funeral prop. Rather, it is a transitional ritual. The original Tibetan meaning of the Tibetan Book of Deliverance is rescue for the great cause of deliverance. A heavy cause refers to the completion of one situation or the beginning of another situation. Dudu refers to transition or interval, and we can divide this process into 4 parts. The accent in this life, final stress, self-stress, and reproductive stress. This life is easy to understand. It is the entire process of human beings from birth to death. We all belong to this sentient being at present, because our minds are not enlightened. So I'm still in the lower realm of sinking. Most people don't know that the essence of the soul is light. We don't believe that this light is the only real thing in the entire world. So we don't believe in practicing Taoism or practicing Zen. We used to talk about the secrets of cultivating immortality through Go, The purpose of Tai's evolution is actually explained in detail. This light of several meters can shine with the bright moon. Therefore, the Taoist inner elixir cultivation method is a method of breaking away from the six paths. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. I won't go into the explanation here. That after death, from now on we will give birth to many voices. Direct transition to final accent. At this time, your soul or consciousness will leave your body, and through a dark journey, see a divine light. Buddhism says, this light is the original light. This light is the key to escaping reincarnation. If you are an enlightened person, there is no need to go through the subsequent process. You will directly enter the light group and go to the pure land of the Buddha's land. If you are a great evil person, you can also skip the following steps, because you will fall directly into the endless hell. Then at the beginning of this public sound, everyone can get a chance to escape from the six paths of reincarnation. Because after the death of Tibetan people, the family members will invite some zombie lamas to recite to the deceased. People who have recently died. The soul has just left the body. You can also hear the lama reciting scriptures for you. The dead soul at this time, if you get something, will immediately escape from the six realms. When the soul escapes from the six realms, once you are freed from the shackles of the flesh, you can be completely released. Such souls will be greatly liberated. After great liberation, you will become one with this pleasant and warm light. If you don't practice Taoism, no enlightenment, the souls of the dead who have not done any great evil, they will enter the real world 3 days after seeing the light. The souls of the dead will also shift from the dying voices to the natural middle voice. At this time, the undead still couldn't believe that he was dead. He will see his own body, see my family and friends. He will call loudly to his closest relatives and friends. No one can hear it. No one can see it either. At this time, the undead will feel that they are in a dream and doubt at his own death. Subsequently, the undead will go to the mirror or the well. Check to see if you have a shadow. They walked on the beach by the river. Check to see if you are leaving any footprints. After checking, the undead will find themselves dead. So the initial important cause starts from the moment of death. The soul is usually in a state of sleep or trance. At this time, the undead didn't know him or couldn't believe it, already separated from the human world. On the other hand, I am obsessed with my original body, want to return to the real world. The soul in this state can have sharper vision than before life, hearing and smelling undead. Because I am attached to the flesh and blood in this world, you will be very eager to get a body again, enter the human world, experience the 7 emotions and 6 desires again. While you are determined to seek the physical body, the night force of the cycle of life and death began to turn. This indicates that you will soon be reincarnated again. So at this point in time, you will also get a chance to escape from the 6 paths. The Lama who recited the sutra will tell the deceased, you must give full attention to spiritual feelings. Death has come. Don't feel empty or anxious. This is a process that everyone has to go through. Don't be reluctant to leave this world. You cannot stay in this world in this state. Now that your consciousness has left your body, as long as you no longer covet this world, you will immediately be exposed to the strange light. After seeing this light, you'll also see a variety of light sounds and colors. In fact, these are just the imagination of your mind. These strange lights are called line colors. Many people who have faced death have seen this light. It is not the true original light. It cannot bring you relief. If you calm down and understand the scriptures I'm talking about below, the true original light, that's when the light of liberation will appear. Manager Wang said, you will see a lot of light when you are confident in stress. These are not real lights. It is what every undead thought of during his lifetime. In the near-death experience we talked about before, the light that many people see is not real light. The light seen in near-death experiences is the so-called line color. Therefore, the dead soul must distinguish the color and properties of light. For example, the dark blue light is the light of wisdom of great sun Tethega. Another example is a dark white light. This light will attract many dead souls. But everyone must remember, if you are attracted by this light, you have to be free. Because true light is a pure light. It is the same essence as the soul. It will not dim. On the contrary, it will be bright, warm, purely. And because your soul has not awakened, so I haven't awakened yet, it has not yet been realized that the essence of the soul is light. Therefore, hearing the sudden enlightenment of the undead spirit, find among the many lights the light of the same nature and purity as that soul. Eventually, the soul merges with this light. The souls of the dead are instantly liberated from reincarnation. Then this initial central stage will last about 7 days. It's the so-called first 7. If you fail to achieve enlightenment twice, Obtain liberation. After 7 days, we entered the most difficult stage of the ascent process. Late ascent. At this time, the Lama will reunite with his family on the 8th day. A final prayer for the departed soul. I hope you won't get lost in the illusory world. You must seize the last opportunity to awaken. At this time, the Lama will tell the deceased. You have to listen with all your attention. The angry gods will appear one by one. Don't be afraid. Don't run away from these horrors either. Angry gods are guardian angels in disguise. If you're not afraid, choose to face your inner fears. You will be liberated. We have gone through countless reincarnations in this life. It's because we are too obsessed with this world. Because we are obsessed with it, we cannot see through the true nature of this world. Everyone in the world thinks that what is beautiful is beautiful. Ugly is ugly, and this turns the God of peace in you into a God of anger. You can't see through the power of this world. The illusion will change. So running away from something you think is ugly is a sign of ignorance. The angry God you see now looks fierce. In fact, it is a kind and beautiful God of peace. When you bravely pass through layers of fog, you will become enlightened. You will understand, since Buddha is the true self, it cannot be distinguished by beauty or ugliness. This is also the cause of self-nature. The last illusion in the stage, the self-dead soul, has not been liberated. Then we will enter the final stage of all causes, rebirth. At this time, the undead will obtain a new spiritual body, because they don't have bodies yet. Therefore, the undead are more powerful than alive. This spirit has incredible power. You can pass through stones, mountains, trees, even the world and space. The undead at this stage will feel that death is not necessarily a bad thing. But this is actually a trap of the 6 paths of reincarnation. The reincarnation mechanism will give you a powerful illusion. Makes you think you are above the world. In this sense of superiority, the rebirth of heavy causes has reached its final stage. The final stage, the dead soul will miss the body even more, until the image in life becomes blurry. At this time, you'll get a new corpse. The dead see new corpses. You'll understand immediately, this is his body in the next life. At this time, the undead finally discover the secret of reincarnation. You'll feel sad. I'll give up on myself. Don't care about the future. We'll be reincarnated. But this is also the last chance for the undead. Because this undead soul is about to enter reincarnation. Be born again. As for whether the firstborn is a human or an animal, it all depends on the karma the soul has created. But this is the whole process of causes. The time is 49 days. Following our Chinese customs, the first 7 to 7 weeks are exactly the same. Tibetan Buddhism believes that every life has an afterlife. For example, if you see a cow, in fact, its essence is not an ordinary cow. He may have been your parents, relatives, or friends in his previous life. Although in this life, he turned into a cow. But subconsciously, he may become your child, your best friend, your relatives. So you have to be kind to this world. Be kind to all living beings. Everyone just needs to remember, what you feel is not everything. Maybe only that light is real. This light can satisfy all living things. The essence of life, hidden inside your body. Buddhism. The purpose of Taoist practice, all to let you know the only real thing in this world. It's the set of light that represents the soul. The soul is the only truth in this world. When it comes to Buddhism and religion, the first impression everyone has is burning incense, worshiping Buddha, and worshiping idols. But that's not actually the case. For example, Tibetan Buddhism does not ask you to engage in idol worship, but let you study Buddhism. In the process of becoming a Buddha, you have to read some classic scriptures. These verses will expand your thinking, enrich your imagination and creativity, let you have a deeper understanding of the mysteries hidden deep in the human body. The role of scriptures is just like the books we use in class. When you truly understand these scriptures, you will understand the path to great success left for you by those previous great achievers in their books. These great ways can make you superior to nature. Buddhists practice Buddhism and Taoism. Those who practice Taoism are cultivating the immortal way. Its purpose is to let you discover, understand the true you hidden deep inside your body. This real you will not be lost in the world when the body dies. But if the Dharma cannot be rectified, they will accompany you through countless reincarnations. So Taoism, Buddhism advocates cultivating the Tao. Let your inner being be sublimated. Buddhism advocates respecting nature. Beyond nature, Taoism advocates the unity of heaven and man. Tao follows nature, going against the grain. This is why many people say, the reason why Buddhism and Taoism are one family. because both Buddhism and Taoism hope that believers can improve themselves, thereby reaching the state of unity between man and nature. Because Buddhism and Taoism do not advocate idol worship, those seniors who became immortals and Buddhists, just like the relationship between students and teachers. Because as a student, you must respect your teachers. We believe teachers respect teachers. This is a principle that people must follow. So everyone, please don't mention Taoism. Buddhism considers it to be feudal superstition. But I am Universal One. My channel is where he also talks about the universe and unsolved mysteries. Friends who are interested, remember to place a reservation. See you next time. Wu Daozi, the painting sage of the Tang dynasty, painted the most peak work of his life in just one night. The picture of Christian carbon disguise shows that the wind and clouds are approaching, and people, ghosts and gods, are as if they are off the wall. It is said that the fishermen and butchers who saw him, Mao's son was so frightened on the spot that he encouraged him to put down his butcher knife. Change careers is change careers. I don't dare to be killed again in my life. Leave. Hello everyone. I'm a global medical expert. Today we will talk about the disguised picture of Huaxing Hell. First, the disguised picture was painted on a landscape of Gong Temple during the reign of Emperor Xuanzong of the Tang dynasty, from the hand of the painting sage Wu Daozi. This painting is painted on the exterior wall of the landscaping company. This is because the 20 rulers of the Tang dynasty, except Li Yin, 5 emperors who destroyed the Buddha, the remaining 19 are Buddhists. So during this period, temples will hire painters to paint Buddha statues for their temples. Who can draw well, the incense will naturally be stronger. In such an environment, the Zen master of the landscaping company and Wu Daozi, who is not yet famous, are very good friends. After the temple was built, Wu Daozi became a well-known painter. So the Zen master invited Wu Daozi to draw a large picture of hell in disguise on the wall of the temple. Wu Daozi agreed because of his old feelings. But Wu Daozi could not find the inspiration to create at that time, unable to draw. But the temple is still in a hurry to hold consecration ceremony. In desperation, the Zen master found another man named Huangpu, a true painter. I would like to ask Huangpu Zhen to paint first. After a day of painting in Huangpu, Wu Daozi learned the news. That evening we came to the temple wall. View Huangpu Zhen's works. Look at this. Wu Daozi was stunned. He found Huangpu Zhen's painting skills are no less than his. Even taller than the figures on his walls. Lifelike. It's simply a stroke of genius. Wu Daozi, who had no inspiration, returned home. In the evening of the next day, Wu Daozi's disciples brought back a shocking news. Huangpu Town fights with people in the market. He was stabbed to death in the chaos. The murderer has escaped. Wu Daozi became pale when he heard this. Asked eagerly, "What did you say?" The disciple repeated the painting again. At this time, Wu Daozi was in despair. Lock yourself up. Didn't even eat dinner. Late that night, Wu Daozi mentioned pen and ink. Rush out of the house. Run toward the temple. That night, the wind is blowing and rain is falling. Lightning and thunder. Wu Daozi was deflated one by one. Just started painting on the wall. The monks in the temple were furious when they saw Wu Daozi at that time. In a crazy state, he didn't dare to step forward to stop him. As a result, early the next morning, the monk discovered that countless people were standing beside the outer wall of the temple to watch Wu Daozi's masterpiece. This painting uses the complex and expressive expressions of the dead. It conveys the pain of hell and all kinds of misery to the living. Having seen this, anyone who paints will shudder, breaking into a cold sweat. On that day, some paintings of butchers and fish guards brought out the artistic conception. I was so scared that I immediately changed my career to landscaping. Because of this mural, the Gongxi Temple, it suddenly became the most popular temple in Chang'an. There was an endless stream of dignitaries who came to offer incense. Just when everyone was mesmerized by the disguised slaughter of hell. But the Zen master was worried in his heart. The Zen master immediately invited his old friend Wu Daozi to the room. Said meaningfully, "Old friend, many people ask me, I think people who have never been to hell can't see hell with my own eyes. It is impossible to paint such a masterpiece. I heard you draw this. The disguised picture of hell is to persuade people to live a good life. We must pay attention to the truth. Be kind to others. Only in this way would he live his life in vain." Wu Daozi, immersed in shame and regret, rushed out of the door. Never came back. Because the murderer of another painter. He was the one who hired him. This is the origin of the legendary landscaping company's disguised picture of hell. Of course, this is just an urban legend. You don't have to take it seriously that real creation is not that complicated. The painting sage is not in vain. He's listed in the famous paintings of the Tang dynasty. This is what is said about this painting. Chongwen Jingyan Temple, Laosheng, Chuanyan silent painting. When this temple hell transforms, those are all pictures of the lonely generation. Fear of sin upon seeing it. There are often reformers. It's a pity that this masterpiece was destroyed in the war. In 2003, according to records, the painter John Yeatsy said, and redrawn this disguised picture of hell, and wrote a causal illustration for it. Convenient for future generations to watch. The so-called reincarnation of cause and effect. This picture shows people the various consequences of falling into hell. At the same time, it also explains that the consequences of hell are self-inflicted. It is not the sin that the so-called Emperor Yama has condemned us to. The gods and Buddhas have no right to condemn you, because sins and karma are all things done in one's life. As long as you truly repent, you can avoid the retribution of sin. So I hope everyone who reads this can do more good and evil. Then let's take a look at this legendary picture of hell in disguise. This picture is divided into 4 main parts. They are Pure Land, the Way of Heaven and Humanity, the 10 Kings of Hell, and the Experimental Sword. It is explained in the Pure Land. The most important thing in a person's life is the bliss of the afterlife. In life and death, eternal freedom from the suffering of reincarnation. And people only need to practice Buddhism intensively. Be confident and willing to act. 3 to 1 life. Upheld, inconvenient. On his deathbed, there must be a way. The Bodhisattva came to receive him. If you can't die, when bliss is born as a human being, abstain from killing. 2. Don't steal. 3. Not sexually immoral. 4. Don't lie. 5. Can't speak. 6. Ahimsa. 7 is not hungry. 8. Not greedy. 9. Don't take advantage. 10. Do not eat enough, and do good deeds when you are dying. You can be reborn in heaven and enjoy happiness. And the soul of the dead wants to enter the human world again. At least keep it. 5 realms. Abstain from killing. 2. Not lascivious. 3. Do not engage in sexual misconduct. 4. No obscene language. 5. Do not drink alcohol. This is the basic condition of being born as a human being. As for poverty, wealth, and honor, it depends entirely on the good and evil in previous life to pacify those evil people. Before dying, my soul returns to earth and enjoys it. The 10 evils are the opposite of true goodness. So which idea enters into practice depends entirely on karma. King Qin Guang, the king of hell in Edian, was in charge of the trial and distribution of demons and evil spirits. All sinful souls were suppressed and sent to King Qin Guang of the first palace for trial. Sent to various hells based on the severity of the crime, to reincarnate for midnight snacks. If one's merit and demerits are equal, one will not be held responsible. You can jump directly to the real palace to find the wheel king to draw the number, and reincarnate it again. After the sinful soul enters the temple, he will first suffer from sin. All kinds of situations will never go away. It is only a crime to follow the doctor late at night. Here, the real person will be revealed in front of the situation. No excuses. And there are many kinds of sins. There are minor and serious crimes. At worst, it's suicide. Because filial piety comes first among all good deeds. Unrepaid for personal favors. He committed suicide before his responsibilities were fulfilled. This is not possible. That Sharon refers to parents, mentors, long benevolence to the country. All living beings are kind. All those who commit suicide will suffer the pain of committing suicide repeatedly in hell. The function of that temple is to judge and dispatch those who intervene. First commit crimes and observe your own crimes. Different sins have occurred. Ghost missions will escort the soul to different hells to be punished. In addition to judgment and distribution, there is also a hell and a bed of fire in the Edian. Those who indulge in sexual pleasure during their lifetime only held hell. This pillar is constantly heating. It's not very comfortable when I think about it. Like to eat barbecue, fry, cook. Those who fry raw meat and trample insects will enter the bed of fire. Hell. Here death comes back to life, and life comes back to death. Repeated torture and torture. There are other stalkers, then fall into other hells. Continue to be punished. The second king of hell was King Chujiang. Presides over the great living hell. The entire living hell is divided into 9 different levels. They are Jifu, sword industry, snake plow, Biantajujie, ice, evil ghost, pus and blood, feces mud. Those who assassinate the water tribe and kill animals will enter the hell of the father. During his lifetime, he used swords and sticks with others, instigating fights. Those who cause war will enter the industry. He slandered the Buddha during his lifetime, slander sages, spread rumors and cause trouble. Scammers are coming and pulling snakes out of here. Will pluck out your tongue and lift your tongue off the ground. That's why it's called pulling at the snake and leading the adulterer. Step on small animals. Those who are ants will be whipped. Those who are greedy for oral pleasure and love to eat flesh and blood will enter Shvijia. Keep all sentient beings in frozen place. Those who died of freezing could not survive being exposed to the ice without any treatment. Evil spirits who do not have good intentions slaughter living creatures during their lifetime. Animals get pus and blood. He disobeyed his parents during his lifetime, violating relatives and friends, insulting others. The adulterer is washed away and enters the 3 realms of hell, excrement and mud. The Song Emperor was in charge of the black rope hell shop. Most of the people in this prison are evil and lowly, caused by stupidity and a fondness for killing. The black snake hell is divided into 2 categories: dig up, dig down, and dig up. Fishing, except for breathing, dry drive, livestock, draw into the 8 great lands. I like to eat shrimps. I like to eat fish balls. Those who like to eat seafood should pay attention. Shengshi likes to pound fish meat into sauce. Likes to steal fish. I like to deceive, and destroy others. Those who humiliate women. Forbidden to the ground. Likes to create and steal documents. Those who rob people of their property. Only dig likes fishing and shrimp fishing. Roast lamb, roast pig, roast beef, roast chicken, grilled seafood, etc. Only stealing fishing. Pressed a monument with respect. Being mean to subordinates. Those who make the subordinates have no place to stand. Disinfect only. Stealing public funds and misappropriating property. Annex food. Those who exploit others. Merely sucking blood to engage in bad deeds. Being someone who disrespects the profession. Just strive to be an official. Disloyal and dishonest. Not ashamed or considerate of the common people. He likes to rob tombs. Forgery destroys people's reputation. Those who are prohibited from wearing clothes like to eat and move the fascia. Selling drugs. Called instigating crime. Cramps hell world only. The king of hell, the king of 5 senses, is in charge of the fiery hell. Those who burn Taoism while alive entered this hall. In the fire hell, peel the skin with Ba Shifei decoction. The steam will collapses, the sword force shoots out the eyes. Jishi. The 8 types of hell consist of speaking evil and lying. Jealousy can slander the spirit and lead to pulling out snakes. If you like to eat seafood, throw fish and shrimp into the lung soup. Killing snakes and skinning them before death. He likes to torture sentient beings with whippings and skin them. Killing, stealing, and committing adultery while alive. The businessman abused his ex-husband and his children, causing other people's families to be separated. Flesh and flesh cannot be together. Those who produce ethical tragedies, especially if innocent children cannot be loved by their parents. A man who was abused by his stepfather and stepmother fell into sexual disarray on a steam train. Committing adultery while alive. Anyone who has no regard for ethics enters the sword forest. Those who looked at their unfilial parents with disgust and evil during their lifetime would have the eyes of a snake. This means that he will never see the light of day. Embezzling the main business during his lifetime. Fabricating right and wrong to create conflicts between brothers. Enter Jishi Hell. The king of hell in the martial palace, Emperor Yama, is in charge of calling the great hell. The soul that enters here. It means that most of the night storms have been endured. The sinful soul now cried bitterly. Ghosts cry and wolves howl. I am here because I have suffered so much. My mood is naturally beyond words. He could only express himself by crying and shouting. Therefore, the name of Wudian is called hell. There is also a Wang Tai here. In the last 2 senses, you will see your relatives who are forever separated from you. Spouse, friend, brothers, and so on. The scene will keep changing. You may see the leader of the village come to ask for debts or property while your body is still cold. Being robbed by one's own brothers and children. Turn against each other and become enemies. Or your loved ones are being bullied. All in all, it was very miserable. There is a saying that describes Wang Tai as painful when seeing all kinds of sins. Those who have been to Wang Tai, if the sin karma is eliminated, reincarnation can be entered. Those whose sins are serious and cannot be eliminated will enter the hell of drawn firewood and cutting the intestines in the dance hall. Knife Mountain Hell, Flying Mountains, Flint, and Stone Hell. After that, 6,789 stores. I won't explain it in detail here. All kinds of torture and torture. Apart from these, only the real temple is different. So let's skip the middle content. The 10th store directly at home is the real palace of Yama and Wheel-Turning King. The people who come to the Chakravartin Palace are not just the sinful souls who have been tortured. There are also some recently deceased people. Because this Chakravartin Palace extends in all directions, ascending to the Pure Land, it leads to the southeast, northwest, and northwest of reincarnation, corresponding to the 4 major continents and Eastern Saint. Chinese rhino. Zhou. Look south to Buzhou and north to gather the soul body of Luzhou. Here, the king of hell will judge according to good and evil. Fortune and other factors determine which continent is most suitable for sending the soul. And because of factors such as good and evil, each soul body has. It will pass through Jinxiao, Silver Bridge, Yichao, Stone Bridge, Wen Bridge, Banxiao and Naya Bridge goes to different places. If you're a good person, don't go to hell after death. Directly transfer to the 10 Palace rotation. The king will be respectful. I came to greet him with a private mission. Such people will definitely be reborn in a home that accumulates blessings and virtues, or a house of wealth and honor. Is there anyone curious about the arrival of the great sage? What attitude will King Luan Zhuan take to welcome him? Just like Lao Tzu or something like that. In fact, this problem does not exist at all. When a saint does not enter reincarnation, he can do good deeds, give alms, and honor his parents in his life. Respect the teacher and respect the Tao. No matter who kills living beings, you can directly ascend to heaven, or get another reincarnation. And poor, lowly, rich, and noble all have causes and conditions. Don't be discouraged. As long as you understand the way of cause and effect, keep your way alive, do more good deeds, serve yourself the next life. You can also live a good life. If you do less good things, even if you're released from hell, at most, I can only go up to Naya Bridge. The Golden Bridge meets a bridge, and so on. No need to think too much. Then we went up to Naya Bridge. It also needs to flow with the flow of karma. Or bitter, or happy, or like the path of evil ghosts. There is no escape from the animal realm. And after crossing Naya Bridge, we arrived at Awangtai. In Awangtai, after you get your number plate, it's time to go to Ming Poding to drink the forgotten soul soup. Good and evil soul soup. Good people are born as human beings. It is extremely intelligent. When an evil person is born into a human being, his mind will be darkened. Bad temper. Those who are half good and half evil are neither hasty nor slow. The combination of the above characters is the main content of the hell disguiser. Then the appearance of this disguised person is to make people not to do evil. Because the disguised person just wants to bring a kind of resonance to the viewer. Cherish the life you have now. Do more good deeds. Be a good person. Because the 6 evils have a very painful way to escape. It's like 1,000 years. A hint of light. It's a really hard one. Look at the reincarnation in the hands of the Ghost King. 9 out of 10 people in the underworld are beasts. Evil ghost. There are very few people who are more humane. The Ghost King seemed to be waving willow branches with ease. But how could the world know that this time there were thousands of ghosts? As the night sea flows away. So, we are born as human beings. We must seize the glimmer of light emerging from the 1,000-year hint. Just like what is recorded in the 3-character classic. Human beings are inherently good by nature. The sins people create are all caused by their habits. It is not the nature of the dead. Like a seed, if you sow good things, you will reap good fruits. If you sow evil, you will reap evil results. You who are alive can't decide what will happen to you in the future, nor can I determine the passage of time. You can't stop birth, aging, sickness, and death. But you can decide whether to be a good person. Decide whether to do a good deed. But I am Universal One. My channel is about exploring the universe and unsolved mysteries. Those who are interested can decide. See you next time. We spend our whole lives searching for the ultimate answer. Is there an end to this world or universe? What is the meaning of human life? Where does the soul belong? Are there really 6 reincarnations? Does the Pure Land of ultimate bliss, which has no birth, no death, no disease, and no disaster, exist? Why did Sakyamuni say that there is a Buddha land at the end of the world? There's no pain there, no setbacks. There is no birth, old age, sickness, or death. Without all the worries in the world. This place is called bliss. If someone doesn't believe in the existence of this world, you can see the legendary Pure Land of ultimate bliss through the 16 views of Buddhism. Hello everyone. I'm a global ritual. Today we're going to talk about the legendary Pure Land of pure bliss, a Buddhist country. When we used to talk about the cultivation methods of Taoist inner alchemy, many netizens, because it has not been lost, therefore it is impossible to practice. A technique like Tai Jinhua Zongzis. You can also simply try while sitting and meditating. It's some similar dual cultivation of life and life. Life regulates those who are in the inner realm. There's really no way to start with this heaven-defying technique. And many people are saying, this Taoist method is too harsh. Is there a simpler way for the soul to transcend? Or is there a way to make the soul immortal? No more entering reincarnation. What about allowing humans to gain spiritual relief? In fact, this method does exist. But Taoism does not have this kind of method. Only Buddhism has the religious beliefs of the Pure Land of Buddhism for this kind of practice. It's this simple technique. As long as you are sincere, read 100,000 times, Namo Amitabha. It can allow the soul to reach the legendary Pure Land of ultimate bliss or spiritual transcendence. And 100,000 is not a fixed number. As long as you are sincere, even if I recite it silently 10 times before passing away, it can also allow the soul to go to that legendary holy place. Speaking of which, there must be many people without religious beliefs who would ask, after all, this holy land is the ideal country in the minds of Buddhists. Or is there really an unimaginable Buddhist Pure Land deep at the end of the universe? If the Pure Land really exists, then how did this Pure Land appear? Have you ever really seen this legendary place? Or how can I see this Pure Land? But now I will give you a detailed explanation of the origin of the Pure Land and the method of viewing it. The following stories are all from the Buddhist classic Infinite Life Sutra. The full name of the Infinite Life Sutra is the Buddha's Sutra of Infinite Life. According to the other two parts, they are one of the Buddha's Amitabha Sutra and the Buddha's Contemplation of Infinite Life Sutra. I will tell everyone about several of its sutras, because it contains a Buddhist practice method. This technique is similar to the Yao we talked about before. Today's Buddhist scripture is the first to mention Amitabha's Pure Land, also known as the Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss, the Land of Bliss, the Pure Land of the West, Ainam, 10 trillions of pure lands and peaceful paradises. It is called Shambhala in Tibetan Buddhism. It's red tape. This business is where happiness lies. It is a world created by Amitabha Buddha with his merits. This world is located in the West. It is said that Amitabha Buddha is still teaching here. And there must be people who practice Buddhism among the audience I evaluated. Therefore, the following content is for those who practice Buddhism. You must be convinced. If there is no religious audience, there may be a lot of doubts. The Buddha said that it is recorded in the Infinite Life Sutra. Once Sakyamuni, when the Buddha was teaching the Dharma to 12,000 great bhikkhus, the Buddha's face was full of energy, pure and beautiful, all over my body, surrounded by golden light. This is disciple. Ananda stood up and asked, World-honored one, your face is pure and radiant today. I've never met you. It looks so beautiful today. You must have a special Dharma to preach to everyone. The world-honored one said, Good thing. Ananda, I came into this world with boundless compassion, to save the ignorant sentient beings in the world. And Buddhism is very rare to find. It only appears once in countless billions of years. So Ananda, you must listen carefully to the Dharma I am preaching to you now. Countless billions of kalpas ago, there are many Tathagatas who came out of the world to teach sentient beings. Among them, there is a Tathagata named CZ, during 42 years of King Tathagata's lifetime. Then this festival is a commemorative unit. One session of Buddhism is equivalent to 15,998,000 years. One ending is equal to 20 summaries. One big section equals 4 endings. To be specific, you don't need to calculate it. Everyone can just calculate it casually in about a year. Although a year is illusory to us, but for the Buddhist worldview, there are many forms of life. We can say that we do not represent other living beings for hundreds of years. There's also a century limit. The world we live in is called the whirling world, also known as soil. It belongs to one of the 3,000 worlds taught by Sakyamuni. Then this world is surrounded by countless worlds. So there are different life forms in other worlds. Their lifespans also vary. After all, there are countless Buddhist Dharma in the universe. Because there are people in other worlds who have cultivated Buddhism. When they became Buddhas, they also had their own Buddhist lands. So it's different in every world. But only the paradise is the most beautiful. Because there are no 3 evil realms in this world. When Tathagata, the free-spirited king of that world, was teaching the Dharma, a king suddenly had an epiphany. Immediately give up the throne and become a monk. Watching how his staff competes with the ball. This bhikkhu is extremely intelligent, having both talent and virtue, refined all the way. No one can practice Buddhism as well as anyone else. A few years later, the staff game also encountered a problem. He wanted to build a sacred and solemn Buddhist Pure Land, completely eliminate the suffering of life and death. It is also called the suffering of reincarnation. But he didn't know how to build such a pure land. He was like the world-honored one questioning. The world-honored one said, You yourself should know how to achieve your own majestic Buddha land. But Bhikkhu Fazang said, The meaning of my ideal Buddhist land is too profound. It's impossible for my ability and level to do it. I hope the world-honored one can explain to me the pure lands of other Buddhas and Tathagatas and their methods of attainment. Let me see how other Buddhist pure lands were established. I will use this as my practice to achieve perfection. Build my own pure land. The world-honored one heard this, said with an appreciative tone, if everyone can pursue economic pursuits, the pursuit of truth is endless. However, I am arrogant because of some achievements, then this person will definitely gain supreme merit. Subsequently, King Tathagata showed his divine power to Dharmazang Bhikkhu, introduced the tens of billions of Buddhist pure lands. The world-honored one said, due to the differences between good and evil sentient beings in these Buddha lands, so each Buddha is a little different. After observing all the pure lands, Bhikkhu Dharmagarbha, just make a vow. You must establish the pure land you want. And in order to accumulate the merits needed for this majestic Buddhist kingdom, he concentrated on practicing for 5 more sessions. Finally, he accumulated the merits needed to establish a solemn Buddhist kingdom and find the blessed one. The world-honored one said, you should declare your great wishes to the joy of all the Holy Spirit. After letting the Bodhisattva hear this, I can also go to your pure land of Buddha. Go to your pure land. It can satisfy the desire of all sentient beings to be reborn in a pure land. Then the staff monk declared his great wish. The process of declaring his wishes is somewhat similar to saying it casually. That's what he wanted to create. What he wants to create is what he can do. Therefore, Bhikkhu Dharmagarbha said, when I become a Buddha, may there be no evil ghost from hell in my pure land of Buddha. Brute, in these 3 evil realms of pure land, there will be no fall after the end of any life. These 3 evil ways. If this wish cannot be realized, I will never become a Buddha. I wish that when I become a Buddha, all living beings in the pure land of my Buddha land, they all have bodies that are immortal, with the 32 characteristics of perfection. All appearance and appearance are correct. Cleanliness is the same. Sentient beings have good or bad appearances. There is beauty and ugliness. I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, may all living beings in the pure land of my Buddha land have destiny knowledge. This destiny guide is very interesting. Most people are particularly curious about this part of Buddhism. In fact, Buddhist magical powers. We can also gain this mysterious power by practicing meditation. Many high-ranking zombies in history have indeed acquired the mysterious abilities recorded in Fate Pass. And this destiny is what everyone often talks about. The term 6 divine powers in Buddhism. It appears in many Buddhist scriptures. For example, the Sharingama Sutra also describes supernatural powers. That magical power mainly covers 6 kinds of methods. They are clairvoyance, Tiner tongue, is a clear mind, divine foot power, Fate Pass. All each are past. The celestial eye can see extremely distant things or see things through perspective. If you have clairvoyance, then you can see the pure land of ultimate bliss. Because Mahayana practitioners are not limited by distance. As the name suggests, Tianer can overcome all obstacles. Hear the sound. His heart can know. The thoughts of sentient beings are somewhat similar to telepathy. But Buddhism is more powerful than telepathy. Later, I will also do a special issue to explain to you that the gods in this part are not talking about our feet. It means that when you meditate and enter the country, it allows the consciousness to cultivate the body, travel everywhere. In an instant, you can travel through billions of Buddhas. Mahayana person, you can even go back in time. The Mahayana gods of the present and future 3 generations are not limited by time and space. And fate can see through the past and present life. Dependent origination and cessation. You can see through to the end. Why are sentient beings being bombed? I can see your endless cycles of cause and effect. And Liao Zhu Tong can let you miss your troubles. Hear the sound and escape from reincarnation. Cultivation into arahantship. So the staff says, if the sentient beings in my Buddha land cannot obtain these magical powers, I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, there is no concept of unwholesome in my pure land of Buddha. All sentient beings have a focused and peaceful mental state. Every sentient being has right concentration. If someone thinks of it, I want to use myself for my own greed and care. It only increases worries. I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, may I shine with infinite light throughout the countless world in the 10 directions. But the lifespan is infinite and unchanging. There is no birth or death. The lifespan of all living beings in my land is also the same as mine, unless you voluntarily shorten your life. Or, comfortable. If this cannot be achieved, I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, countless Buddhas in the 10 directions. If we cannot praise my name together, praise me for the beauty of my pure land. I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, as long as there are sentient beings in the worlds of the 10 directions who believe and love them, and longs to be reincarnated in my Buddhist kingdom, even if there are only 10 thoughts, you can also be reborn in my Buddha country. But those who have committed the crime of disobedience and slandering the Dharma. You cannot enter the pure land of ultimate bliss. Disobedience is a term specifically used in Buddhism. They're killing their father and mother, respectively. Kill the arhat, breaking the harmony, and giving birth to the blood of the Buddha body. These 5 sins are the most heinous in Buddhism. All sins that cannot be cured will go to endless hell after death. Everyone can understand the first 3 types at a glance. The 4th type of destruction and destruction refers to those who destroy the Sangha and practice Buddhism. If you have the means to break up the Sangha, or they cannot be allowed to practice together, occupy their temples, forcing monks to return to secular life. These are all considered as breaking peace and causing sin. To bleed the Buddha's body means to do harm to the Buddha's body. In other words, it caused the Buddha's body to bleed. This all counts as a blood sin of the Buddha's body. In addition to these 5 inverses, if sentient beings cannot be reborn in the pure land of ultimate bliss, the staff will never become a Buddha. Then this sentence is said in the Infinite Life Sutra. 10 thoughts will surely arise. Will it? Put it simply, even if you are ignorant, as long as you recite Namo Amitabha sincerely, you can also be reborn in the pure land of ultimate bliss in vain. After, the staff continued, when all sentient beings in the world in the 10 directions hear my name, concentrate on your thoughts. My Buddhist country generates bodhicitta. Practice all good virtues. The skills are self-contained, and the aspiration is for survival. When my Buddha dies, I and the assembly of bodhisattvas will appear before this person. He leads to the world of bliss. If this ambition cannot be realized, I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, all sentient beings who come to my Buddha land, in the end, you will definitely obtain the Buddhahood, unless he himself makes a wish. In order to save all sentient beings, accumulate merit and practice the Bodhisattva path. Make offerings to the Buddhas in the 10 directions. The Tathagata teaches and transforms all living beings, awakening to the right path. If this vow cannot be fulfilled, I will never become a Buddha. When I become a Buddha, I, the Bodhisattva of the Buddha, will acquire all wisdom. This is to say, there's no problem in arguing about wealth. If this vow cannot be fulfilled, I will never become a Buddha. Finally, the staff said, I build a transcendent worldly connection. You must know the supreme way. I wish that I would not be a great benefactor for countless calamities. I have attained the Buddha's path, but I have never practiced the 10 Buddhas, renunciation, mindfulness, and pure knowledge. In everything you do, seek the supreme honor. Only when gods and humans decide to achieve supreme enlightenment. After the magic staff monk made 48 grand oaths in front of Tathagata King Oath of Freedom, and he began to practice Buddhism intensively. In the end, all Dharma returned to its origin and achieved the supreme Buddha status. The last name is Amitabha, also known as the Buddha of infinite life. When he became a Buddha, the vow he made became the legendary Buddha land of bliss. This Buddha land surpasses any known Buddha land. It can be called the most holy longevity. Buddha. At this time, Sakyamuni, who was teaching the Dharma, said, the pure land of utmost bliss is a place west of our world that is home to 10,000 billion Buddha lands. The Buddha referred to here is believed by some to have transcended the definition of the 3-dimensional world. May have reached the 6th-dimensional world. I also think it feels like a parallel universe. In short, this distance is beyond our imagination. None of the units of measurement we know can be used to calculate the distance to the Buddha land. So that's it for now. Everyone will have a question. Although I understand everything, this pure land of utmost bliss is the Buddha's land created by Dharmastik Bhikkhu when he became Amitabha Buddha. So how can sentient beings go to the legendary pure land of ultimate bliss? Or how can we see whether the pure land exists? This question is also written in the scriptures. The scripture says, if there are sentient beings who see or hear the light and merits of Amitabha Buddha, and can recite the name day and night, you can be reborn in the paradise world. Just say 4 words more simply, it is enough to explain that sincerity leads to spirituality. It's such a feeling, and there's no suffering for all sentient beings in this world. No pain. There is no life or death. Every life has a clean and solemn image and a beautiful voice. Everyone has the highest level magical power tree. Everything they need in life is abundant. Moreover, Amitabha Buddha is still teaching sutras and dharma for all sentient beings in the land of ultimate bliss. Also because of his infinite lifespan, the boundless brilliance is called the Buddha of infinite life by the world. So how can we see this paradise mentioned in the scriptures? Or does it exist at all? How can we prove that there is such a perfect paradise at the end of the world? So what exactly is there in this world? Good. In the next issue, we will talk about the Buddhist cultivation methods that allow you to see the world of bliss. Having learned this method, you can see the legendary paradise. I am Universal One. My channel is about exploring the universe and unsolved mysteries. If you are interested, remember to subscribe. See you next time. The world in the future will be a sea of misery. Hurry to the paradise world. Do you think your problems will be solved by going to the paradise? The person who records the world. It is harder than we who are the people of the motherland world. Those of you who have read the Amitabha Sutra will know. Every morning when I wake up, I go to offer flowers to my mother. After completing 100,000 ancestral Buddhas, you have to make a merit account very early. Why? The girl came back from the Shurfong clan. Do you want to go to sleep? We can't recite Buddha's name to celebrate the New Year's meal and New Year's Eve. This needs to be done reflexively after eating. I still need to exercise. Those are all trees and flowers. Can you stop watering it? Those are kapale wogging. Can you not keep it clean, majestic, and beautiful? Here comes my point. It's hard to accept that the world is the same. You develop the habit of hard work in this world. Thinking again and again about the future, Xiao will train in his later years. Everyone who is used to practicing Buddhism knows that teacher. Our world is called the whirling world. The world is full of disasters. Very bitter. In the whirling world, the reason why all living beings suffer is because we have greed, anger, and eat the 3 poisons and the 3 evil paths in the 6 paths of reincarnation. In that entire universe, is there a place where all living beings are free from disasters, troubles, birth, and death? Will everyone be happy? In fact, this place exists. Sakyamuni said in a lecture, to the west of our world, there is a world called bliss, located 10,000 billions of Buddha lands away. There is no suffering in that world. There is no partying, no worries, carefree sentient beings. Just enjoy endless joy and pleasure. There are no animals in reincarnation there. Evil ghosts, the 3 evil realms of hell. And if sentient beings do not believe in the existence of bliss, you can see the legendary world with your own eyes through the 16 views of Buddhism. Hello everyone. I'm a global ritual. Today we will talk about the Amitabha Sutra and the Avalokitesvara Sutra among the 3 Pure Land Sutras of Buddhism. The first of the 3 Pure Land Sutras. The Buddha said the Infinite Life Sutra. We have already explained it in the previous issue. Audiences who haven't seen it can check it out. Today we're going to talk about. The first thing I will talk about in the latter 2 sutras is the second of the 3 sutras, which tells the Buddha to speak the Amitabha Sutra. Once, the Buddha was preaching on the mountain, and there were high-minded bhikkhus below. 1,250 people. There are countless heavenly beings. Buddha, King of Heaven, common people and Dragon King, and so on. At this time, Buddha opened his eyes. Facing his younger brother, Sharif said, Shariputra, the world we live in goes all the way to the west. After 10 trillion Buddhists, there is a world called utmost bliss. In this world, there is Amitabha Buddha. The FA is being taught now. Shariputra, do you know why this place is called paradise? Because the people living there, no pain, no worries, carefree. Just enjoy endless Dharma joy and pleasure. So this world is called Bliss Shariputra. I'll tell you again, that world is surrounded by a railing of 7 jewels. There are 7 layers of snares in the sky. On the ground were trees arranged 7-fold. They are made of gold and silver. Yoli, coral, tridacna, barefoot, agate, Shariputra composed of these 7 countless rare treasures. I'll tell you again, there are gems made of the 7 treasures everywhere in the paradise. These gems are filled with the 8 functions of enhancing the human body. The bottom of the holy pool is covered with gold sand gems. The surrounding stairs and roads are made of gold, silver, and glazed glass. There are also countless treasures built up. Pavilion loft is truly indescribably majestic and gorgeous. There are also many colors and gems. A lotus as big as a wheel. These lotuses release different lights. They are subtle and delicate, holy, elegant, fragrant, overflowing with deeds. This is how the sentient beings in paradise of ultimate bliss are. They all transformed into Shariputra in the pure and beautiful lotus. The reason why the paradise is so beautiful is, it is all because of the 48 great vows made by Amitabha and the results of Amitabha's practice. In that world, the sky often emits wonderful music. The earth is full of gold, and such a wonderful scene. They are all the result of the many knotted practices of Amitabha and Bodhisattvas. There are no animals in the paradise world. Evil ghost. The three evil realms of hell. There are not even names for the three lower realms. The animals there are all Amitabha Buddhas. It evolved for the promotion and dissemination of Buddhism. Do you know why the Buddha in the Western paradise is called Amitabha? Because his Buddha light is bright, incomparably illuminating Buddhist lands in the 10 directions. Therefore, he is called Amitabha, which means infinite longevity. And his lifespan and the lifespan of all sentient beings in the paradise are eternal and endless. So Amitabha also means infinite life. Such meritorious and wonderful scenes are all transformed by his merit. So here we are. This sutra is probably finished. There are many viewers who have passed the previous video and this video. There is definitely a question, or have a curious knowledge point. Although this bliss is recorded in Buddhist scriptures, but has anyone seen it? Or how can I see it? If you can't see it, how to prove that it is real? Speaking of which, we're going to talk about the sightseeing in the 3 Pure Land Sutras. Many people who practice Buddhism have used the method recorded above to see the legendary paradise. The Buddha said that the Buddha Sutra of Contemplation of Infinite Life is also called the Contemplation Sutra. There is an allusion recorded in the scripture. We will not explain this allusion in detail. It probably means, during a sermon, Sakyamuni sent Ananda to rescue a king who was imprisoned by his son. The king's wife was unable to rescue the old king. Then he asked the world-honored one about his marriage to this evil being. After understanding the cause and condition, the imprisoned king and queen were in agony. Knowing that I can't resolve this marriage, just thinking about how to escape from this 5 evil things, to the bliss of the West, completely escape from hell. There are 3 evil realms, evil spirits and animals. And Ananda asked the world-honored one to teach him the method of liberation. Sakyamuni, who was lecturing on the sutra, suddenly emitted golden light, and his soul came out of this void and came to the 5 kings. And he used his Buddha power to take the king and queen to see the mysterious paradise world with their own eyes. After seeing the bliss, he also explained to them in detail the method of visualizing the Western paradise. Therefore, this sutra does indeed record the Buddhist practice of observing bliss. This method was called the 16 passes by later generations. Currently, it is also the main cultivation method in the Pure Land. This method is similar to clairvoyance and clairvoyance among the 6 gods of Buddhism, the power of destiny and the power of gods. But unlike these magical powers, therefore, it is currently classified as one of the Buddhist meditation techniques. But its appearance is recorded in the scriptures. It is a Zen state technique created exclusively for mortals in order to see the paradise world. Now let's explain this part of the 16 views illusion. We won't explain it in detail. Then Sakyamuni said, mortals do not have divine vision. Can't see the world far away. So, Buddhas and Tathagatas have special aspects. Dharma can help ordinary people see the extremely pure world of the West with your own eyes. First, everyone must concentrate on one thing. Use your consciousness to visualize the ultimate bliss. But this method has a drawback. People who are naturally busy may not be able to do it. Anyone who can see the light has seen the sun setting in the west. When you see this scene, you should have the thought of thinking, then sit upright facing the Westerners and enter meditation. Carefully use your mind to visualize where the sun is about to set. Let your thoughts be concentrated and not distracted. Hang this falling sun between 2. This is the teaching we talked about in Tai's purpose of entering China. Then practice it repeatedly. Cultivation to the point that no matter whether you open your eyes or not, close your eyes to the sun that is about to set. They can always hang in the void between the eyebrows. Whether you open or close your eyes, you can see clearly. It's done when it's clear. The first critical day among the 16 Buddhist contemplations. I want to call it Chuguan. Next, you should think about it with all your heart. The pure water lingers in my mind. Not messy. After cultivating to the end, you should turn into ice. This ice is transparent and clear, like glass. After the glass is formed, you can see the light of the glass. A strange light will be reflected inside and outside this land. If you look further down, you will find, in this land, there are the golden shapes of the 7 diamonds. There are 500 colors of light in each treasure. This light is like a flower, and like the sun and moon hanging in the sky, create a bright tower. There are various musical instruments outside the balcony. When the wind blows, the musical instrument will produce beautiful heavenly sounds. What Tianyin sings about is nothingness, the wonderful method of selflessness. and it's the sound of water. It's called two views. And when practicing observing the sound of water, a clear picture will appear in your mind. No matter whether you open or close your eyes, you will never be separated. Except when eating, at other times it is necessary to have thoughts. If you cultivate this matter to a later stage, you will be able to see bliss. It's called first seeing bliss international. If I could see the bliss of the West while entering the country, and the grains are distinct, is clear and unmistakable, this has reached the third level of land enjoyment. This realm is also a small watershed. Currently, there should be many zombies who can cultivate to this level. That is recorded in the sutra. Buddha said, as a practitioner, I can see the bliss. It can eliminate the sin of life and death for 8 billion kalpas. That is to say, at the third level, after sacrificing his life and reincarnating, then you can be reborn in a pure Buddha land. But you must pay attention here. Third, those who have achieved great success in contemplation practice may not necessarily be able to reach the Western paradise, because the Pure Land Buddha Kingdom does not represent the pure land of ultimate bliss. After the enjoyment of the land is completed, the next thing to do is to visit the treasure tree. When your consciousness enters bliss, you have to visualize the precious tree in bliss. To look at each tree one by one, then observe line by line. The precious trees here are arranged in clusters as many as 7 levels. Each tree is 8,000 high. In study tour is the length of ancient India. Unit 1 study tour is equivalent to the distance a cow travels in one day. That study tour was about 11.2 kilometers away. So the 8,000 study tour is about 89,600 kilometers. And these treasure trees are blooming with 7 treasure flowers and leaves. And all the boys in the heavens live in palaces made of these flowers and leaves. Each of these children has a treasure on their chest. These treasures radiate light, like tens of billions superimposed on the light of the sun and moon. There is a great light above that turns into an infinite treasure cover. In the treasure cover, you can see all the Buddhist deeds in the 3,000 worlds. The Buddhist kingdoms of the 10 directions all appear in the treasure cover. After seeing these trees, you must look at them one by one. Visualize leaves, branches. Looking at the flower and fruit light platform is like myself in the mirror. The tree is completed. I want to call it the 4 views. The next thing to do is to visualize the Western paradise. 8 Gonda water among the 7 gemstones. The 8 Gonda pool in paradise is very mysterious. A tiny stream of water can create a bitter emptiness, impermanence, and no self. And I can admire the faces of the Buddhas. Peaceful and upward, there will be a wishful king. This bead exudes a subtle light. These lights will turn into colorful divine birds. The chirping of birds, they are all praises for reciting the Buddha's name and reciting the Dharma. This is the sound of the 8 Gonda water. It's called the 5th view. The Western paradise is composed of various treasures. There are 501 treasure towers on each land boundary. In these lofts, there are countless gods and musical instruments. Thinking of this step, even if you have truly entered the Western paradise, in the scriptures, it is called to contemplate the land of ultimate bliss. It is also the 6th view. It's called a total visualization practitioner's perspective. Thinking of this step, everyone wants to see the legendary Amitabha Buddha. The Blessed One said in the scripture, the thoughts of those who want to see Amitabha while visualizing start by imagining the ground where the 7 treasures are combined. Visualize the lotus flower with 4 thrones on the flower stand. Every treasure is like a decoration on the bed of Mount Sumeru, as colorful as the sky. The radiant light illuminates every inch of the pure realm of bliss. It is completed when you see this lotus seat, the practice of 7th insight. It's called Huazwishyang. If the world wants to see Amitabha, you should meditate on flowers first. Those who practice loving-kindness and realize it can eliminate the sins of 50 billion kalpas of life and death. At this point, if a practitioner's body is extinguished, when you are reborn, you will know the bliss of the West. Therefore, the 7th level should be a more important watershed. At this 8th level, it's time to visualize the Buddha, because Buddha's Tathagata are the gods of the Dharma realm. He exists in the heart of every practitioner. So, when the thought of contemplating the Buddha arises in your mind, the heart becomes a Buddha. Buddhas will arise from the mind. When you are devoted to the Buddha and have no distracting thoughts, visualize Amitabha Buddha carefully. Amitabha Buddha and the 2 great bodhisattvas will appear and shine brightly. Their light will shine on the treasure tree. 3 lotuses will open on the tree. A Buddha and 2 bodhisattvas will appear on the lotus. This is the 8th level. It's called similarity. At this time, practitioners have eliminated countless calamities. the sin of life and death. Buddha can also achieve the samadhi of chanting Buddha's name in reality. Passing through this realm can eliminate all evil obstacles. In other words, meeting Amitabha Buddha, that is to say, he will be reborn in the land of peace and happiness. After the 8th level, practitioners should visualize the light of Amitabha Buddha. The body is like the light of Amitabha Buddha. Like hundreds of billions, the night demon sky Buddha talks about the golden Buddha, tall, like the 60 trillion Ganges of sand swimming in search of him. The white hair between the eyebrows. Turn right and tactfully, just like observing the mind clearly. Every pore on the body can radiate light. And the primordial light on the top of Amitabha Buddha is like tens of billions of 3,000 worlds. Within the circular light, there are tens of billions of incarnated Buddhas. Every incarnation of Buddha, there are also countless bodhisattvas as their dead. Amitabha Buddha has 84,000 signs. Each phase has 84,000 good phases. Every good thing can shine with endless light. So, the meditator can start with one of the objects. For example, just visualize the white spots between your eyebrows until it becomes perfectly clear, able to visualize clearly every moment of white hair. Those 84,000 good things will also appear naturally. The one who sees Amitabha, this is to say, it borders the 10 directions. After countless Buddhas, those who are classified as practitioners will be remembered. This is the 9th view. It is called observing all forms. Then the next few levels are too fantasy. I'm not going to go on. Interested viewers can take a look. The Buddhist contemplation method and the Taoist immortal method are essentially the same. They all focus on the cultivation of the soul. But Buddhism is more inclined to the extreme of sexual power. Taoists believe that the cultivation of both life and life is the correct method. However, the essence of the two families is actually basically the same. For example, in Buddhism there is bliss. Taoism has a heaven. Moreover, both Buddhism and Taoism emphasize the importance of the tianxin between the eyebrows. Once you meditate in Taoism and practice Zen in Buddhism, we must pay great attention to the cultivation of body, mind and mind. First, both families need to adjust their body and breath. Then give up all worries. Let your mind calm down. Then use your mind to cultivate the tianxin between the two pieces. But something slightly different. Taoism focuses on the inner. Buddhism pays attention to thoughts. Because Taoist exercises all operate within body. Good. That's it for this video. The Buddhist exercises in this video. You can try while meditating. However, we still need to remind everyone of the Taoist exercises. Don't try it easily. Never use your thoughts to activate the innate organ in your body. At the end of the video, fans are left with a question. Everyone is welcome to discuss it. Are the Buddhist emptiness and the Taoist Tao the same thing? I am Universal One. My channel is Taizong Universe and Unsolved Mysteries. If you're interested, remember to subscribe. See you next time. 8486. When Sakyamuni passed away, he left behind 84,000 relics. This tree also corresponds to the 84,000 Buddhist teachings. The relic is a very hard gem-like substance left behind after the nirvana and cremation of the enlightened eminent monk. This kind of substance is not available to ordinary people after cremation. This is also an intention that modern science cannot explain. Hello everyone. I am Universal One. Today we're going to talk about the Buddha, the ultimate relic of Buddhism, said to his disciples before his nirvana. After death, the body gradually decays. This is because all matter cannot last forever. The body also plays no role after death. The main life of human beings is consciousness. Body is nothing more than a vehicle for consciousness. All life is willing to determine the limits of competition. Study to the extreme, you can get rid of the entanglement of greed, anger, and delusion. So after I die, my body will be cremated to prove to the world, the body is not important. Consciousness is the foundation of human beings. That disciple also followed Sakyamuni's last wish. After his death, his body was cremated with wood. After the fire was finished, the disciple was surprised to find that something shiny appeared in the fire. Pick it up and take a look. It turned out to be the legendary relic. After some selection, a total of 1 stone and 6 buckets were picked out, also known as a skull, 2 shoulder blades, 4 Buddha teeth, a finger bone, and 84,000 columnar relics. This number exactly corresponds to the 84,000 Dharma doors of Buddhism. Ming Shi'ais was proficient in 84,000 Dharma during his lifetime. Among these relics that ordinary people cannot cultivate in hundreds of lifetimes, the tooth relic of Buddha is the most valued and controversial, because there are 4 Buddha tooth relics in total. One of them was invited away by the 10th heaven, the Lord of Heaven. The other one, invited away by the Dragon Clan. The other two were stolen by Rosa, whereabouts unknown. But Rosa stole these two for some unknown reason. Some came out. One appeared at the Buddhist temple in Kandy, Sri Lanka. One appeared at Lingxi Temple in Xishan, Beijing, China. However, two other tooth relics of Buddha were later discovered in the wooden pagoda of Yingfu Temple. But this quantity is not right. Heaven and man are among the dragons. One lost two. In total, there are also 4 Buddha relics that are born now. So where did the relics of Longzhong and Tianren come from? Therefore, some Buddhists believe that there should be 7 or more than 7 Buddha tooth relics. Because Sakyamuni only left 4 tooth relics of the Buddha. Those 3 have appeared in China. This doesn't seem very reasonable. Therefore, the authenticity and quantity of Buddha relics are not yet unified. But most Buddhists believe that Sakyamuni only has 2 Buddha teeth and 1 remains in the world. One in Sri Lanka, in Beijing, China. What is left is not necessarily the tooth relic of Gautama Buddha. It may be left by other enlightened monks, or it may be silver bone relics. There are also some people who think that these 2 tooth relics from Yinjiang County are definitely the Buddha's tooth relics. There is no doubt that these 2 coins were stolen by Rakshasa. As for Beijing and Sri Lanka, one is a heavenly being, one is from Dragon Ball. Actually, the whole process of the 2 Buddha tooth relics discovered in Yinjiang Wooden Pagoda is also particularly interesting. June 18, 1966, when a tourist visited the wooden pagoda, suddenly I found a silver box under the seat of the 3-story Buddhist altar. Open box. Found gold and silver inside. Gold, crystal, tridacna, red pearl, amber, and other 7 Buddhist treasures, and a folded Dharma image of Sakyamuni. This is the appearance of the first Buddha tooth relic in the wooden pagoda. So how did the silver box fall? After testing, the staff found 4-story Buddha statue. There was damage to the chest and back. Through the damaged holes, I discovered that there is a wooden frame inside the Buddha statue. A pile sheet is hung below the skeleton. There is depth below. There seem to be several scrolls in the groove about 10 centimeters. When the staff was using iron pliers to take out the reels, one of the reels accidentally fell down. As a result, the dropped scroll also appeared under the Buddhist altar. Therefore, the silver box containing the Buddha's tooth relic also fell from here. The 2 scrolls taken out are one of the Lotus Sutra of Wonderful Dharma. One volume is a map of medicinal herbs. Later, the staff asked carpenters to start repairing the Buddha statue. The carpenter suddenly had an idea during the repair process. There are hidden hints in the 3-story Buddha statue. There should be similar hints in the Buddha statue below. As a result, another silver box was found under the hint of the Buddha statue on the 2nd floor. The river also contains 7 Buddhist treasures and a Buddha tooth relic. The 2 carpenters secretly took the silver box home. Because carpenters are timid. In the panic, the Buddha statue was not completely repaired. The staff discovered that the damaged Buddha statue showed signs of being stolen, so we called the police. The police summoned. They recovered the stolen artifacts. So why can these 2 Buddha teeth be definitely those of Sakyamuni? Because it is recorded in the scriptures. The pair of Buddha's teeth that Jackie Rosa steals invisibly is actually a hard ground. The hard ground is where the tooth relic of Buddha is located. In County was called hard ground in ancient times. It is also a hard ground recorded in Buddhist scriptures. Many bloggers on the internet say, these 2 Buddha teeth should be unearthed first, after professional appraisal. It has a history of more than 2,500 years. The bead-shaped relics on the Buddha's tooth are more than 300 billion years old. The most important thing is, the hardness of these small beads is similar to that of diamond. There is even Dr. Gao from the Gemological Association. The 2 Buddha tooth relics were subjected to a 2,000-ton pressure test. As a result, the relic remained intact under the pressure test of 2,000 tons. Dr. Gao believes that this is the legendary Buddhist Vajra body. It is an indestructible body that can only be cultivated by Buddhist monks. As a result, Dr. Gao, who passed down the lineage, said, these relics are not forged. It is a naturally formed hexagonal diamond. The internal structure of this diamond is very rare. It should be similar to an extraterrestrial meteorite. So Dr. Gao exclaimed, these relics are indeed priceless treasures. In order to reflect the magic of relics, Dr. Gao used a 1,000-fold microscope to observe the relics. As a result, an unexpected scene occurred. In the middle of the relics, there are 4 small Buddhas surrounding a big Buddha. These 4 small Buddhas are like protectors. surrounding this big Buddha is simply a real-life version of the Four Directions Buddha. At this time, the so-called Dr. Gao explained again. Why does the power of the Buddha's tooth produce such a miracle? Why do people who practice Buddhism have a substance that has never appeared on earth in their bodies? Does this mean that Buddhist magical powers are real? Isn't it true that Buddhist supernatural powers are nonsense? The tooth relic that you are about to receive was from 1974 when we were repairing the wooden pagoda and renovating the Buddha statue inside. The discovery from the Buddha statue cave has been confirmed by the Buddhist Department and the Cultural Relics Department. After the appraisal, it is indeed the true body of Buddha Sakyamuni. But what you can currently sort out. In other words, what about the elegant bone relics that you can see all over the world? It only has 4. One of them is contained in the Kandy Buddhist Temple in Sri Lanka abroad. Another one is Lingguang Temple in Badachu, Beijing. The remaining 2 are enshrined on our wall. These photos were taken with an enlargement of 12 million pixels. From the picture, you can see that these relics are very big. In fact, the food of relics is not that big. Its food is smaller than the rice grains we drink. But it's very hard. It is harder than diamond. The most amazing place. These relics are contained in the continuous growth and growth. What is contained in the long one contains vitality. It also represents the endless inheritance of Buddhism. First of all, researchers believe that the reason why the eminent monks have relics after the original potion is related to their diet. Because most monks mainly eat vegetarian food, the body contains a lot of fiber and minerals. These fibers and minerals are absorbed into the body over a long period of time. A large amount of phosphate crystals will be produced. That's what's called a stone. After golden sax was cremated, phosphate crystals can be mistaken for the legendary relics. With this explanation, most people disagree. Nowadays, many lay people or monks are still vegetarians. Why not after they die? In other words, ordinary people also have stones. After cremation, why is there nothing left? So this explanation cannot be accepted by the public. Later, experts conducted professional testing on the elements of the relic. The relics contain aluminum oxide, calcium oxide, iron oxide, potassium oxide, and magnesium oxide, etc. This is because relics are a collection of bones that are burned and recrystallized. In addition to these oxides, the main components are silicates and phosphates. These substances, crematoriums, can be found everywhere on Earth. You can often burn out some similar particles. However, its formation is also very difficult. For example, temperature and burning time and diet, etc. Although many people on the internet used animal bones to burn crystals similar to relic shapes. But speaking of ancient times, this is not very realistic. There were no modern tools in ancient times. It is not easy to accurately burn so many relics. So at present, the relics are still unexplainable. But, according to Buddhism, practitioners really have the ability to see through and let go. Become a Buddha with just one thought. Those who have realized the great truth will have relics after death. Moreover, relics are only cremated after death. Only then can they be discovered. Before his death, no matter what instrument you use to test, it is impossible to find it in the body. This is the empirical evidence that the eminent monk left to the world after he became a Buddha. In the specific process of forming the relic, there is an explanation in Buddhism. The relics are the crystallization of the merits of the society. Those who practice self-refinement will follow the definition left by Sakyamuni. Learn the 3 methods to practice. Those who have cultivated to the extreme can collect energy substances from other dimensions. When this substance is returned to the body, it will form elixirs in the body. As the level continues to increase, cultivate to a certain extent, this elixir formed from the energy collected from other dimensions will explode. The purpose of the explosive pill is to explode all the orifices and locks all over the body. Practitioner, because of the bomb, you will gain a lot of magical powers and become greedy, angry, and ignorant. Leave every home behind. Shizi is the fragment left behind after the explosion of this pill. Therefore, the relic is the ultimate symbol of Buddhism. Because Buddhism is invisible and intangible, no one knows whether Buddhism exists. For the other party's bottom line, right? So I left the relics behind. This kind of material that can be seen and touched. It is to prove to future generations that Buddhism truly exists. He has been recognized by Buddhists as a Buddha highly recommended by later generations. Although science is progressing rapidly now, but it must be understood scientifically. The existence of relics still does not reflect reality. There is no need to explain it scientifically or say that the meaning of the relic itself is not important in the eyes of believers or that the purpose of the practice is not to cultivate the relic, but another high-level pursuit. As the Lord said, what is left behind in the physical body is not important. Cultivation is for liberation at the level of consciousness or soul. As for the internet, saying that one can become a Buddha by seeing the relics, you don't need to believe that the relics are there. Although he has many people, I didn't see anyone. I had an epiphany on the spot. At the end of the video, Taoist priest Zhang Jishuan, a modern representative of Taoism, also explained the relics. To interpret Taoism and recognize Buddhism, to seek sexual merit, that is pure gong. The reason why Buddhism has relics is because after attacking Shuji, the soul took away all the innate things. He does not practice the remaining tasks. So he doesn't want the scum left over the day after tomorrow that he didn't cultivate. These dregs are relics. However, Taoist exercises must be practiced day after day. Cultivation of both life and life. And I have refined all the days before and after. Both the innate nature and the acquired body must be refined. Therefore, Taoism will not leave acquired body dregs behind. There will be no relics. Our Tao is different from Buddhism. Buddhism only practices gong. Why does Buddhism give up disciples until the end? He took away all the original objects. He doesn't want the rest of the scum. We practice sutras even with hindsight of the original thing. We Taoists don't even have the word set. Annexes often have bodyguards on the inside. When we reach the highest level of training, even the body is fully painted. In Buddhism, relics are considered to be the crystallization of the three dharma of precepts and concentration. Taoists believe that after a person's sexual power is accomplished, he can leave behind acquired dregs. The crystallization of these dregs is the relic. The scientific community believes that the relics have no secrets. There are some common substances on Earth. So at the end of the video, I want to remind everyone that you can respect your teachers. This is a traditional virtue, but do not develop this virtue into idolatry. The Buddha firmly opposed idol worship during his lifetime. He himself does not want his disciples to focus on his own body. Your own disciples should take the Dharma as their teacher. Don't worship idols. This will hinder your awareness. I didn't ask future generations to pay homage. He has always encouraged everyone to focus on understanding Buddhism. Only by taking the Dharma as a teacher can we understand the true meaning of life. Everyone must keep this in mind. So what are the different views of the audience in front of the screen on the relics? You can discuss it with me in the comment area. I am Universal One. My channel is about exploring the universe and unsolved mysteries. If you are interested, remember to subscribe. See you next time.